Will you always have a perfect product? No,
Probably not.
because you're always iterating. You're always wanting to improve. Why? Because your customer wants something better.
Yeah.
You know, the market wants something better, and you always have to listen to your customer.
Welcome back to the My First Business podcast. This is a mini episode where I take some of the best parts of my interviews with phenomenal entrepreneurs and chop it up for you like a snack.
Start small, perfect your product.
Yeah, it's the almost the antithesis, if I get that word right, of Silicon Valley, where they're the move fast, break things kind of philosophy, which to me sounded like horse crap, but it was being spread through every major company, and they started using different words like launch, iterate, and hidden behind what the word iterate was actually launch incomplete and figure it out as you go. And maybe the damage is less when it's an online tool or something like that. But these products like you're talking about, people are using.
But you're dealing with people's safety.
Yeah, you're right? Like it's quite dangerous.
So you wake up in the middle of the night and you remember Patrick from 2.5 years ago, sir, I don't want the bike to blow me up.
Yeah.
Right? That's on my conscience.
Of course.
Right? There's a fellow human being on a bike.
Yeah.
Carrying a lady with her son going to school.
Yeah.
I can't take that on my head. I could not ever live with myself if something. So I'd rather take my time in getting it perfect.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, where we're at now. Even as of this morning, there's been a very small change on the bike, which has not delayed us. It's just going to enhance things better for what we need to do in the future.
Yeah.
And I got a call from somebody on Monday saying, yeah, we'll take those 5 bikes, put them in the showroom. We've got customers coming this afternoon. I'm like, no, I want to just make this small change. You'll get them on Friday or Saturday. He's like, but we lose the sale. I said, no, you won't. You'll just tell them to come back on Friday or Saturday or next Monday, and they will buy the bikes.
Yeah.
And guess what? They will. Because now they will come and they'll say, I don't like the way this thing sits on the bike. It's a very small piece on the bike.
Yeah.
But it's an irritant. Right? Which irritates me. And I said, what's the way around this? It's like this. And they've worked on it, the team, and it's changed. And that... Especially
if it's fixable or workable.
It is fixable.
And it is an objection to a customer. And you can work on it, so then do it. I had, for example, like a year ago, I had someone reach out to me at the same time that I was thinking of offering consulting services. So we've launched and built our agency, and there's another lady that wanted to do the same and wanted to hire me to like help her guide through the 0 to 1 phase. And at that time, just wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. I didn't have like what my scope of work would be, what I would teach, how long it would take, how much it would cost. And Alina and I sat down. I told you before we started, she's the speedy one. She's a rabbit. So she's like, just put something together and just send it through and then try it out. And I kept thinking, and I couldn't articulate it at the time, but it was more of a reputational thing. If this is going to be my first, I want it to be something that I can use as a case study, and also not damage me, so that it could be my first and my last if I do it really quick. And lo and behold, I waited a few months enough to realize that that's not something I want to do either. So that's the other thing of taking your time. Sometimes you get through 20-25% way through and you're like, hold on a second, this is not what I thought it was going to be. And I'm not overcommitted to something now or living a new life that we didn't want to do,
And I think that's being accepting of, does this fit where you want to be in your life? But more importantly, also not being greedy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Or that's short-term thinking too, right? Greed
exactly.
And short-term thinking. Right? Yeah.
And I think, unfortunately, a lot of people... So I used to have short-term. Well, we've all had it, right? Mm-hmm. We've all, and as an entrepreneur, you all look for the short-term thinking.
Of course.
Now, when we did FIKA, there was a objective plan to short-term B2B leasing. Knowingly that at this point in time, we're going to end those leases and then we'll either sell the second-hand bikes or give them off to other sort of non-B2B operators of third party for leasing.
Yeah.
And that'll keep that bit of the lights or sell the bikes on. But our ultimate game was we always knew this was about traction. And how Bill Orlett always told me, get your paying customer in the door. We got the paying customer, kept the lights on the road, gave you the kilometers, gave us the battery swaps, gave us the understanding to make things perfect. Yeah, that bike wasn't perfect, but it was perfect for the utility use that it had, right? Or the productive use, so to speak. And today, we're just able to get better and better at what we do. Now, I sound like devil's advocate. Will you always have a perfect product? No.
Probably not.
Because you're always iterating. You're always wanting to improve. Yeah. Why? Because your customer wants something better.
Yeah.
You know, the market wants something better. And you always have to listen to your customer.
I want to switch to competition. How do you generally, in all your businesses, keep a tab on competition? I'll tell you why I ask, because currently with my agency, we're in a red ocean. Extremely red. The reddest of red oceans is marketing agencies. Everyone has one. And it's, when we started it, we looked at no one and we just did our own thing. And we continue to do that because it just freaks me out. The number of agencies are out there, their capabilities, the years of experience and their marketing messages and all that. I just want to put my head down and just work. But how do you look at competition? Do you keep tabs on? Do you spy? Do you you just are a Google warrior with that kind of thing? Do you attend events and exhibitions? How are you keeping on top of what's going on, what your competitors are doing in your different businesses?
So I don't run the lighting business so much now. For the last 2-3 years, I've been involved more with FIKA and my brother runs it. But back in the day, we'd always keep an eye out on what competitors are doing, you know, what new products are coming. But one of my strengths in the business was also to be innovative and always find new products and sourcing and going to trade shows and all that. So when you go to trade shows, you're obviously seeing your competitors or suppliers who are supplying to your competitors, and then you're working out where they're getting their product from. I think it's important to keep a track on your competitors. But having said that, I think it's also very dangerous to copy your competitors. I think it's also very dangerous to follow your competitors. You don't actually know the reason why they're doing what they're doing. They might have a client or a niche that's driven them there and it's paying their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Or it's their bread and butter business. So you don't actually know the full story. So I always say, stick to your strengths, stick to your core. That doesn't mean you have to do things cheaper because you're losing a tender or losing a bid or you're not getting the client. Stick to your core, but also always make sure you demonstrate you have a better product offering and explain that. But competitors, I mean, it sounds very simple, but better product offering. But if you know your customer, you should be able to win your customer over, regardless of saying, I'm going to give it you 10% cheaper or I'm going to give you freebies. Yeah, sometimes as startups, we've had to do that, right? I've been very conscious in FIKA not to do that because I believe once given free, it becomes a habit, but also given free also becomes it's like
a reputation thing again,
exactly.
Right?
That is this really a good quality product? Then he's just giving it to me free.
Yeah.
On the other side of this is I love competition.
All right, that's all, folks. I hope you enjoyed that teaser. I think you will love the full episode. I'll leave the links in the description below, or you can head on over to my website. It's nparvez.com. Before you head off, I have just one more question to ask you. Why haven't you subscribed yet?